Hey, hello there. Welcome to Cook with Queen TV. I am so excited, literally bursting. I cannot wait to show you guys what we are making today, and I will keep it a surprise no longer. This actually is a beautiful hybrid for Thanksgiving. So we're gonna be making a sweet potato honey bun cake, and it is literally to die for. So we're gonna get right into the things. I'm gonna go ahead and preheat the oven for us at 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, so let's do that. The temperature is set, and I'll go ahead and go through the ingredients briefly because it was made in a couple different stages. Okay, so for the cake in and of itself, you'll need a sweet potato. I like to use the butter recipe cake mix. You can use the regular yellow or white. And then I have just a couple extracts here. So this one is cake batter and this one is a rum extract. 8-ounce container of sour cream, 4 eggs. You'll need some veggie oil. I have some nuts here for a separate portion. So then for the layer in between the cake, we have brown sugar, some toffee bits. This is really a secret ingredient, so you're welcome. We have some cinnamon, ginger, and nutmeg. And then for the icing or the glaze, we have brown sugar, vanilla, and then I like to add a little bit of softened cream cheese, and then you'll need a milk of some sort. I have oat milk at the house, so that's what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna move a lot of this stuff out of the way so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then we'll get right into it. All right, first things first, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the sweet potato. So there are a couple things that you can do, especially if you're making it for Thanksgiving, to prep beforehand. One of them being going ahead and baking the sweet potato. I'm gonna mix it up just to make sure to get all of the clumps out. And I'm gonna recommend, I have also tried this by just using like an easy microwave sweet potato, and it just doesn't do as well. I think it tastes better if you actually bake the sweet potato. Sour cream in an 8-ounce container is exactly that, so you don't have to put it separately in a measuring container. And then we have 3/4 cup vegetable oil. And from here, I honestly like to mix this first before I add in the sweet potato. And at this stage, it doesn't have to be totally completely mixed because we're obviously about to add the sweet potato in there. And then of course you don't want to overmix it as well. Just enough until it's blended together well. And then you can add in, I would say this is like a medium size sweet potato. So if you want to, and you have to have measurements, then measure a cup of the sweet potato, the baked sweet potato already mashed. But if you're gonna do that, blend it first and then measure it in a measuring cup for 1 full. Our oven is ready. And then blend together. It is looking great. So again, this is where I get fun and creative about how I make the cake. To be honest, I don't make it the same exact way every single time, but she is consistent. I know most people have vanilla. If you want, you can use a teaspoon or 2 inside the cake mix itself. But since I have cake batter and rum extract, I'm gonna put literally just like a sprinkle. I'm gonna empty her out because this one feels like there might not be a whole lot left. All right, and then if you do have rum extract, like, I mean, be so light-handed because it is quite strong. So that's more like a couple drops. Phenom. I'm just gonna make sure to wipe down the sides. All right, she is a beaut. Look at that. And move on to stage 2, which is the like cinnamon swirl. It's like the best part of an entire cake, if you ask me. So for that, you will need 1 full cup of packed brown sugar. And just make sure to pack it real tight, okay? Again, if you don't have all of those, all of those spices, just make sure that you have the cinnamon. It tastes just as good with that alone. To be honest, the original Honeybun cake recipe only calls for cinnamon. I just kind of queetified it just to make it a little bit more next level. All right, and then just pack it in there real good. So for this, you can do probably 3/4 of a cup to a full cup. All right, so we got our cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Again, this doesn't have to be perfectly measured. You want to make sure you do that more with the cake itself. And then I'll just use a couple shakes of the nutmeg. Again, a relatively stronger spice, so I try not to use as much of that. And 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. It looks like that right there. And then we'll kind of break up that brown sugar so we can spread it in between the layers. Before we layer, though, I am going to chop up some pecans. Now, you can go ahead and buy chopped pecans just plain as they are. And again, those work phenomenally, but we're about next level eats over here. I was actually able to find like glazed pecans, so that adds a nice little crunch. There's a little extra sweetness that comes in from the nuts themselves. So I'm just gonna rough chop these real quick. Just to get them in smaller pieces. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Anywhere from a 1/2 cup to maybe 3/4 cup of nuts. You could save some to crumble on top. Whatever your beautiful heart desires is fine. So there's that. And then we're gonna go ahead and get our baking pan. It works well with a 9x13. We're gonna put 1/2 of the batter. And it can honestly be a little bit less than 1/2, just enough to coat the bottom of your baking dish. Ooh, I can already tell this is gonna be a really good one. So we're in there. Again, break up any of those crumbly pieces of the brown sugar. Make sure it's all stirred together so the spices are evenly distributed as well. And then we will, I like to make sure that it covers all the edges so that there is a cinnamony swirl in literally every bite, like such. You could honestly stop here and then layer with the second half of the cake. But again, we do things a little bit different over here just to take it up a notch if it couldn't already be like more perfect. So I have these bits of Brickle toffee bits. Maybe use your own frame of reference here. I love the toffee, so I probably am more on like a 1/3 cup side. But if you just want a little bit, you can do a 1/4 cup and just evenly disperse it. We're gonna take the pecans or pecans. Which way do you say it? It just depends. I'm from the South, y'all, so sometimes I say pecans, but if I'm feeling really sophisticated, I'll say pecans. Oh, look at that. So good. And then last step of layering for the cake, and make sure to get all of it. Do you hear me? So in order to spread this well, because sometimes it can get really messy, you'll take a spatula and then you'll spray it with non-stick spray, and then look at that. And then the goal is to just get enough of that cake mix all the way through, evenly dispersed through to the corners, just like that. And then to help give it a little bit more of a swirl, the spoon I use to mix the cinnamon, I'm just gonna do that same thing over, but you'll go in and kind of swirl it together. So when you cut into it, it is really pretty as well. So here is our final product. We can go ahead and place it in the oven. Again, we have it preheated at 325 degrees. But generally, it could be anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes cooking time. So I'm gonna start at 30 just because I don't want to overbake it. And then we'll test the middle when it's done. So while the cake is baking beautifully in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and make the icing, which is again delicious and very, very simple. As long as you have a vanilla extract, powdered sugar, and then a milk source of choice, you should be good. I have regular oat milk, but like sweet potato pound cake, pumpkin oat, it's gonna be fire this way, okay? What I like to do just to help prevent any clumpage is to whip up the cream cheese just a little bit before I add in everything else. So I'm gonna say 2 heaping spoonfuls of the cream cheese. I do set it out just a little bit so it is more spreadable. A teaspoon of vanilla. Again, we're doing 2 cups here. I am being really brave pouring this over like that. I would not recommend doing that, but I was too lazy to take the rest of these off so I could really dig into the bag with the cup, but that's neither here nor there. All right, I'm cool with that. 1 cup, I'm probably gonna do a little bit less. So I probably did a 1 3/4 cup. And then just be really careful here with the liquid source. I usually start with 2 tablespoons of the liquid because you want it to be quite thin. So she is a thick with 3 C's. So as you're adding though, just do it 1 tablespoon at a time thereafter. So start with the 2, and then if you need to add more, do a tablespoon at a time. You don't want it to be like watery thin, but spreadable thin. All right, she's still a little bit thicker than I want it to run more than drop. I think if we do 1 more tablespoon, we'll be perfect. Okay, and just like that. What? Yes, let's go. Okay, this is beautiful. So that's kind of how you want it to run off. The sound of music to my ears. I can tell you right now, she's not done, so. She's not completely clean on the fork yet. Another 4 minutes and then we'll see from there. And here she is. You could smell how good it smells in here. If I could bottle this up into a candle scent, I would. All right, so we still have our glaze, which is glazing just as beautiful as ever. So what you'll want to do is pour it right over as soon as you pull the cake out of the oven. Evenly spread it over. From here, to be honest, I usually just kind of pick it up and make sure it gets literally into every nook and cranny. No drizzle left behind, like at all. Look at that. And then I'll kind of like pull the sides of the aluminum pan. That way some of the glaze that made it to the edge kind of seeps down into the sides as well. I just had some extra pumpkin spice, pumpkin seeds. Again, if you still want to put nuts on top, then just divide the amount of pecans that you use. So I just do a nice little crunch and then put that on right as you put the glaze onto. So as the glaze sets, then the nuts set into the glaze on top of the cake too. So it's more like these. But yeah, we'll give it some time to cool, and then once it cools, I'll come back and taste it for you. I can already tell it's gonna be delicious. I say this every time now that I make it, but this is gonna be the best one yet. And I believe this is gonna be the best one yet. The time has come. And I know, I look different than when I came in here. It is the same day, but just as the cake was transforming, I had to, because I literally have to be somewhere soon. So we're gonna try this really quickly. The cake has cooled. I'm just gonna cut a sliver out. Just so I can get a taste. Oh my God, I hope you can see that. She looks divine. Okay. All right, Lord bless this food. Every single time. It never fails me every single time. This is so good. Please, please, please. This will be the star of the dessert plate. Thank you so much for spending some time with me with our first Cook with Quee TV YouTube video. I can't believe we're here, but again, I am so very excited. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also turn on your notifications so you get the first round whenever I post a new video. And please don't forget that you can live healthily and eat happily and enjoy every bit of it. Have the best rest of your day.